So, hey everybody. Um, I've had this thing come up and I want to talk to you about it. And it's name calling. And I'm not talking about the kids out on the playground calling each other names. I'm talking about teachers and administrators calling names in regarding to how we label children. Things like they're stubborn, they're defiant, they're picky, they're demanding, they're manipulative, um, they're loud, they're wild, they're what are the other ones? They're noisy, they're argumentative. Um, that's name calling. I mean, maybe you've known a particular kid for a while and they have this trait that drives you crazy, but then we reduce ourselves to name calling, and that is not okay. I have had really difficult kids and I know how it feels. I know we get to the end of our rope, but sometimes you just got to hang on and keep swinging. Now, let's consider for a minute that it really is not natural for really young children to be away from home and hearth for long periods of time. It's really not what I would consider to be developmentally appropriate for really young children, when you think about it, to be in large group settings with other children away from home. So the question, and this is a big question that I ask, and it's been percolating in my brain for a couple of days now, is why would we think that the children would want to be there in our care anyway? What gives us the idea that parents really want to relinquish the care of their children into the programs of others? Why? Just think about that. Is that really something that parents want to do? Is it something, do the kids really even want to be there? When you think about it, they go into survival mode when they get in there. It's not natural for a 3 or 4 or 5 year old, or might even say a 6 or 7 year old, to be in a classroom with 15 other kids, and in the case of an older child, over 20 children, sometimes 30. That's not natural. And so here we are in society, modern society, that has these organizations where children come and we are caregivers. We are there for them to guide them and mentor them. And I'm even going to move away from the word of teaching, because we get all kinds of connotations up in our heads about what teaching really is. And what curriculum is, for me, it's an unfolding of possibilities. So it's just, again, it's something that's percolating. We go in to our studies and we're studying child development, we're studying brain development and neurological sciences and physical development and all these other great things. And then we move away from the textbook and we get into a classroom where we're confronted with real human children. And we don't seem to be able to make the connection. So one of the things we need to remind ourselves is we're not there to fix the child. We're there to guide and mentor. And one thing that Kristen Day says in her book, I'm not there to teach them or get them ready for kindergarten. She says, are we a hummingbird or are we a helicopter? And I love that analogy. And I think we need to consider that. Nothing changes until we change. So our mindset, the mental verbiage that's going on in our heads, we have to change that. Um, Going off on a parent when they first get there in the morning or when they're coming to pick up. It's not like they don't have a lot of other things going on in their heads because, oh, this kid didn't pick up their toys and, we're really frustrated with that or whatever else is going on. Well, is that going to want the child to pick up the toys? It's all about relationship. All learning is in relationship. And picking up toys is not, and I'm just using that as an analogy. Picking up toys is not a skill. It's not a skill. Is it on a job application? Is it a prerequisite for graduation? We have to bring community into our programs, a sense of community. And young children, if you look at the stages of play, one of the first ones is being by yourselves and playing by yourself and having ownership over that space. not being a 2 or 3 year old and being confronted with a whole bunch of other kids that all want the same toy. So I'm just throwing that out there for you to sit with it. I got a freebie that I put together. It's a compilation of some things. It's about reframing this. And it's not about pretending that everything's okay and ignoring it, because that's not what I'm saying. We do have to be mindful of strategies that we need to put in and accommodations that we need to put in. We have to be very mindful of the words that we use and very mindful of where our bodies are in the space with young children and our tone of our voice and not being punitive or using punishment in the name of discipline. We got to be really careful with that. Why would that child ever want to come back? But we do need to shift the way that we interpret their behavior. Their behavior is a message. We all know that it's trying to tell us something so that we can be more responsive and effective in a very hummingbird sort of way. So anyway, I will put that out as a freebie. It's going to be there. You'll be able to click on and access that. It's just about reframing and to think about how we can reframe. And that takes practice. And so the goal would be to choose one verbiage that you want to eliminate out of that vocabulary that just pops out of our mouth without really thinking. It's like, okay, I want to be mindful that every time I say this, I'm going to get a check mark on a piece of tape, and then I'm going to replace it right away with this, so that that is more of a proactive phrase to help the child come into community and to honor the child in that moment based on what that child needs. All right, I'm done. I got a plate of dinner here I want to get to. But anyway, take care. Don't beat yourself up over this, but please be aware of it, because I've seen some things and it just sort of just in my heart and I needed to share it. So there you go. Take care.